Hey there, I am Tracy Black, founder of don'tmesswithmama.com, and I'm here today to talk to you about the Instant Pot and why it's amazing, and tips and tricks to use your Instant Pot so that you won't be stuck wondering what buttons to use, how to clean it, all the beginner rookie mistakes that I had made that I don't want you to make. So first of all, the Instant Pot, what is it and why does everybody need it? So first of all, the Instant Pot is an electric pressure cooker. That's basically it. So you can just plug it in and it'll pressure cook versus the old school method of pressure cooking where you would do it over a stove. What I love about the Instant Pot is that it's just so easy to use. One thing that I was really intimidated with regular pressure cooking was releasing the steam. I sort of had these visions of like stuff going all over my kitchen and blowing up in my face. And with the Instant Pot, they've really sort of made it really easy and almost really foolproof to use. But there's just a few things that you have to keep note of, and I wanted to go over it in this video so that you're not stuck like me wondering how to use everything and not knowing how to clean things, because that was one of the rookie mistakes that I made. So first of all, this is sort of your unit. This is the Instant Pot. There's several different models out there, and so I'll kind of run through the buttons. I'll show you the different parts and pieces of the Instant Pot and some tips on how to cook in there so that you're not burning anything, you're not ruining your unit, and your food's going to come out really delicious. So what are the benefits of pressure cooking your food? So number one is you are using the pressure to cook the food, so you're sealing in the juices. The flavor is just so amazing. Really the biggest benefit, number two for me, is if I forget what to make for dinner, if it's like 6 o'clock and I've got 30 minutes to get dinner on the table, I'm finding that with the Instant Pot, I can take frozen meat, frozen chicken, put in some ingredients in the Instant Pot, and literally 30 minutes later get a delicious meal. Whereas, with conventional methods, I would need to defrost the meat for an hour. I would then need to use a slow cooker or conventional cooking over the stove. It would take me anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours to get food on the table, whereas with the Instant Pot, it just makes it so much easier. So the time savings for me has been really huge because I am not necessarily a meal planner. It's usually right around 5:30 or 6 o'clock when I start asking my family, what do you guys want for dinner? And so we have our list of Instant Pot recipes that you can find in my book, Instant Pot Recipes Made Simple, which is amazing. It's all about, for the busy family who doesn't have time to cook, but wants to get healthy meals on the table in less than an hour. Most of the recipes in that book are actually less than 30 minutes. So super easy to use. And what I love, here's the third benefit of the Instant Pot, is not only is it a huge time savings, but it's really hands-off as well. So for instance, I can put my ingredients in. There might be a little bit of prep, usually just a couple of minutes for most of the recipes that are in my book. Put it in the Instant Pot, and then I can walk away from it. I don't have to babysit over a stove like with conventional methods. I don't have to keep looking in the oven, right? If I was, putting something in the oven. It really is a pretty hands-off type of cooking, which I love. So what that means is if a recipe takes 30 minutes or an hour to cook, it'll cook in here and I can do other things. I can help my kids with homework. I can clean. I can get ready for the next day. I can, prep other things, maybe make a salad. It just makes things really hands-off. And I would say my favorite reason for this is I am personally not a morning person. So in the morning, it's really great to be able to put, like oatmeal, for instance, in the Instant Pot, or you can make, an egg casserole, put it in the Instant Pot, and I can let it go, not babysit it, not stand over it and make sure everything's cooking properly. Put the ingredients in, let it go, and then go get ready. So that time savings is really, really huge for me. The other thing that I love about the Instant Pot is you can literally do like a one-pot meal, and so that really cuts down on the dishes and all like the stuff, right? Like all the pots and pans and things that you're kind of grabbing all over the place. So just for ease of just weeknights, busyness, cutting down on the cleaning, the Instant Pot is definitely where it's at. So if I haven't already convinced you to use your Instant Pot or to get an Instant Pot, I hope that helps you. But it is really our saving grace for our family. We use it at least 3 to 4 times a week, sometimes every day, because we love it just so much. So there's different electric pressure cookers out there. I'm going to be talking specifically about the Instant Pot, but you can apply a lot of the same techniques. They're all pretty similar, but this is the Instant Pot. So this is an older model. It's about 2 years old, still going, still love it, use it all the time, so still going strong. So what you're going to notice is that there is a lid, which I'm going to take off. Okay, so this is the lid. And I'll go over the pieces right here. There is an inner pot. Let me move this around. This is a stainless steel pot. This is one of the reasons why I chose the Instant Pot is I wanted a stainless steel inner pot. Some of the other brands out there, they will use like a non-stick, and I personally just wanted to stay away from that because we don't use non-stick cookware for our family to kind of stay away from as many chemicals as possible. And then what you'll find is this is actually the unit itself. So if you've ever had like a rice cooker or like a slow cooker, so this is where the actual heating happens. So in this, you know, the Instant Pot itself, you are never going to put ingredients, you're never going to put anything in here, okay? You're always going to have the inner pot that you're going to place in the unit itself. Now what's really cool is you can actually buy separate pots, for instance, right? So, you know, for some people, like my inner pot smells a little bit like chili because we do chili, we use lots of cumin, we'll do spaghetti sauce, we do lots of like carnitas and things like that. So my inner pot smells a little bit like chili, which you can use, you know, cleaning products, essential oils to kind of, to take that scent away. But, you know, you may want to get another inner pot so that you can do desserts and, you know, more like sweet things, oatmeal in a different pot. So lots of folks do that. It is an option. I pretty much just use the same pot because the food at the end tastes fantastic. But again, love the stainless steel inner pot. This is where you're going to put the ingredients in to do your cooking, okay? And then as far as the lid here, you'll notice there's a few different features. So this is what it is. On the lid itself, there is a sealing and there is a venting. So this is really key when it comes to pressure cooking. So the Instant Pot has several different functions. So for instance, you can use it as a rice cooker, a yogurt maker, so many different things. You can saute in here where you wouldn't even need to put the lid on. But if you're using it for pressure cooking at all, right, or steaming, rice cooking, for instance, okay, you're going to want to, this is the valve here, okay, this is where they've really demystified pressure cooking. So you put your ingredients in, for instance, right, like if you're going to do some pressure cooking, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to make sure that the valve, this little valve right here, is going to be unsealing when you close it. So this is how it's going to work. You put the lid on, you make sure it's snapped, you turn it all the way so that it's in that closed position, okay? You don't want to just put it on and leave it there. You need to actually turn it so that it's in that closed position. Then you would turn the valve from venting to sealing. So the pressure cooking actually won't work unless it's on that sealing position. That's really, really important. So when it's in that pressure, that sealing position, that will allow the unit to actually, you know, create that pressure and to actually cook the food. So if it's not there, what you're going to hear is you're going to hear the steam coming up. You're going to hear the steam. So if you hear the steam, right, and you mean to actually do the pressure cooking, all you have to do is just turn the valve, and then the unit will then correct itself and then start to do the pressure. So the key thing with pressure cooking is whenever you see recipes out there that say, for instance, you know, you can cook beans in 5 minutes or rice in 7 minutes, right, or chili in 20 minutes, you need to make sure you're adding about 8 to 10 minutes to the cook time because the unit needs about 8 to 10 minutes to actually come to pressure. And you'll see it when the unit's actually turned on. You'll see the countdown for the cook time doesn't actually happen until it's already come to pressure. So just account for about 8 to 10 minutes for it to come to pressure, and then the cooking will begin. Okay, now let's talk about 2 ways you can release the steam in the Instant Pot. So this is really important because your Instant Pot's working to, you know, work up that pressure to cook your food. And so what the Instant Pot has done is it's in a locked position. So you actually cannot open the lid while it's still cooking, while the pressure is still going. And that's a good thing because you don't want spaghetti sauce to go all over the place. You don't want that steam to go in your face. That is a safety feature that is really fantastic. But when your recipe is done, when the beeper goes off because your recipe is done, what you're going to do is you have a couple of options. Okay, so follow the recipe. So in my book, I'll tell you specifically whether you do a natural release or whether you do a quick release. So if you're looking at other recipes online or in a cookbook, just make sure you're really taking note of that. So what that means is to do a natural release is when the beeper goes off, the pressure in the Instant Pot will naturally start to go down. And the time usually takes anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes. So again, follow the recipe that you're following. But what that means is after about 10 minutes, the pressure will naturally go down so that it will be safe to open the Instant Pot. And you'll be able to see it in the floating valve itself. This is the floating valve. And when it goes down, you'll notice you'll be able to open the Instant Pot. So it'll actually you'll be able to turn and open the lid. The second way you can release the steam is you can actually turn the valve, the pressure valve, from sealing to venting, and that's called a quick release. And what you're going to notice is that there's going to be steam that rises up, and it's going to be like like you're in a spa, right? Like steam is just coming up. So what I would suggest is don't put your Instant Pot directly under a cabinet where the steam is going to sort of hit the cabinet. Put it like near a window or an open space so that the steam can release really easily. But you'll notice for about a minute, the steam will come out and kind of go and sort of take up your kitchen. So that is a quick release, and there's a lot of recipes where you will need to do a quick release. So again, make sure you follow the recipe. But those are the two ways to release the pressure: natural release and quick release. Once the pressure has gone down, the lid will then open. So again, love that safety feature with the Instant Pot that you cannot open it, or you shouldn't be able to. It's really, really hard to open it when it's still in pressure. So that's really awesome. So here's the thing I want you to know is the lid itself, okay, you see sort of the valve, right, the venting and the sealing valve, the floating valve here. This is all in sort of one unit within the lid. There's also the sealing ring, which is removable, okay? You may want to get a second sealing ring. Why do I say that? Again, because we cook like a lot of chili and spaghetti sauce and a lot of savory dishes in here, what you're gonna find is the sealing ring itself may start to smell like chili. I mean, that's just kind of like the truth of it. So again, you can clean it. I've got some suggestions on how to clean your Instant Pot in just a bit. But what I find is it's actually kind of nice to have a second sealing ring if you're going to do sort of sweet dishes, again, oatmeal or cheesecake, desserts, that type of thing, yogurt. You may want to have a second sealing ring. So the sealing ring comes off pretty easily, but this whole unit, the lid itself, the sealing ring, the valve, like all of these parts and pieces actually do come off. This is part of like the floating valve itself. They all come off, and you can go ahead and clean it. I didn't know that when I first got my Instant Pot, so I want to make sure you know that. So the whole lid and all the pieces in the lid can be washed. You can just put it into a sink full of water. One of my favorite cleaners is the household cleaner. I love it because it's a non-toxic cleaner, but I'll just put a capful of that in my sink, and then I'll just let that soak for a bit, and then just sort of clean all the pieces with my dish soap, and it's fantastic. So you can absolutely clean the entire lid. The same goes for cleaning your inner pot. The inner pot you can take out, of course, right? This is where your food's gonna be. You can absolutely clean top, bottom, inside out. The whole pot you can clean. What you cannot submerge in water is the Instant Pot itself, okay? The unit itself cannot be submerged in water. Again, right, this is where the heating unit is. You don't want to break your unit. So again, I love my Thieves Household Cleaner. What I do is I do a capful into a spray bottle like this. And so I'll just spray the outside of the unit to clean, because what happens is sometimes food gets stuck in here or like right in here, and I'll just use a rag or a paper towel to sort of clean. You can even use like a rag, like a paper towel, and just sort of clean the inside as well. That's why, again, I love Thieves Cleaner, because non-toxic, food safe, right? Like I don't want something with toxic ingredients touching a unit that I'm going to be using for food and then eating later. So you can absolutely do that. but again, you just don't want to submerge the unit in water. So I wanted to make that really, really clear. Okay, so we talked about pressure cooking and how to do a quick release and a natural release. We talked about the lid and all the different parts, how to go from venting, right, to sealing, and right, when you're doing your pressure cooking, you want to have it in that sealing position. So there's a couple of other tips and tricks you really need to know when it comes to pressure cooking. The other thing is you want to make sure you always have some liquid in the Instant Pot. So for instance, if you've got a recipe that you're following or you're trying to maybe make up a recipe on your own, you always want to have at least half a cup to a cup of liquid. That could be water, that could be broth. You need some kind of a liquid because the unit will not come to pressure if there is no liquid in there. You'll actually dry out everything that's in there. The liquid is really, really key to the pressure cooking. So half a cup to a cup of liquid. I always have some broth on hand, and I'm going to share with you my favorite homemade broth recipe that I make with the Instant Pot. It is so easy. You don't have to slave over, or put it in a slow cooker for 8 to 10 hours. I mean, you could get, broth in about an hour and a half, which is amazing. So I love to use broth in most of my cooking because it gives it such a nice flavor, tastes really delicious. But again, make sure you always have at least half a cup to a cup of liquid in the unit. The other thing is with the Instant Pot, there's so many different ways that you can cook. So for instance, if I'm making like a one-pot dish, I have my chicken burrito bowls, for instance, which are amazing. It's like you put chicken and rice and like the seasoning and like the broth and some salsa, and it's like you can have like a burrito bowl that tastes even better than what you would get at Chipotle, which is fantastic. But here's the thing is, what I like to do in the beginning, this is why the Instant Pot is so awesome, is there's different functions here. Everything from like a rice function, a bean function, a yogurt function. There's the saute function. That's probably my favorite thing. So this is the key to one pot cooking is I put the unit in saute. I turn the unit on, plug it in, put it on saute. I put a little bit of oil, avocado, coconut, whatever is your favorite cooking oil. I then saute my garlic, my onions, right? Whatever I need to. If I'm doing a pot roast, I'll often sear the meat for a bit before I do the pressure cooking, but you can do it all in the same unit. So most of my dishes, what ends up happening is I start in the saute mode to get the veggies going, to sear the meat, right? Maybe to get the spices sort of unlocked, right? Before we, put the ingredients in. And then after that, I turn the unit off and then turn it on to pressure cooking. So I often use the manual pressure cooking button, which is on this unit. I think for the newer units, it's just called pressure cooking. And then I just set the timer. So, I've got lots of recipes where I saute, get that going, press off, press pressure cooking, do the time on it, right? Put all my ingredients in, put the lid on, turn it to sealing, to pressure cook, and that's it. It's like everything's done in here. I don't need to start on the stovetop, transfer my ingredients. It's all in one pot. So that's definitely a huge win when it comes to the saute function with the unit. It is awesome. So that's number one, is you can start off with saute. The other thing that you can do is when I'm doing anything where it's like a grain that could stick to the pan, so for instance, rice or oatmeal, I have this cooking spray that I get from Trader Joe's. I love it. It's a coconut cooking spray, but you could do your own. You could even put like in a spray bottle, like your favorite cooking oil, avocado, coconut, and just kind of like spray, like mist it. So much better than the other sort of conventional cooking sprays, which have all kinds of crazy ingredients. But I do that. I do like to do a little bit of a spray or just as a light coating of oil. And what that does is it helps to prevent that stickiness. You're going to have a little bit because this is not a non-stick surface, right? It is stainless steel. But it's a lot better than if you just sort of put the dry grains in there and then, let it cook. So that the sort of layer of oil or the cooking spray when you're doing rice or oatmeal is really, really key. So just do kind of a quick spray and then you can put your ingredients in and follow your recipe. Something else that I love to do with pressure cooking is you can do really fun things. And I like to do this. You may be asking, why would I want to make an egg casserole, for instance, in the Instant Pot versus the oven? Well, here's the thing, it's a huge energy saver, right? I'm not having to heat up my whole oven or use a toaster oven, for instance, right? I don't have to use those devices. I can actually do it in my Instant Pot. So in particular, if you're in a small space, maybe you don't have an oven, maybe you don't have a toaster oven, maybe you have an RV or a college dorm, I always just turn to the Instant Pot because it's just my favorite cooking appliance. But here's something that you can do. So you can actually make casseroles, and I've got a great egg casserole recipe in my book, but you can use, this is what you would do. You still need the liquid. So you would put your liquid, right, into the pot, half a cup to a cup, follow the recipe. Then you would use a trivet like this, a metal trivet. Make sure what you're using if you're using a trivet or dishes, right, to cook in the Instant Pot, make sure they are oven safe because of the pressure, right? It does heat up. So once I put my liquid in, I put the trivet in. Let's say I've got my egg casserole. I can have a few different egg casseroles, whatever you can kind of fit into the unit, and you can put it actually in here, put on the lid, and that's how you would do it. Did you see how easy that was? Right? So you do your liquid, your trivet, and then you put your oven-safe cooking dish with your casserole, your oatmeal. You could do cheesecake, you could do all kinds of yummy recipes, but that's how you do it. So you can still use the benefits of pressure cooking. Again, it'll likely be faster, it's one pot, makes less mess, uses less energy than cooking conventionally in the oven. Again, I love to do my egg casseroles in the Instant Pot because I can put it all in, walk away, and not have to babysit the oven and keep checking. It's all kind of right there, which is awesome. So that's how you would do, things like casseroles, or if you've got a recipe for like a cheesecake or something, that's how you would do it, okay? So if you see those recipes, that's what you would do. There's some other cool things that you could do where you could actually layer different things. It's called pot and pot cooking. So again, you put your liquid, you put your trivet, and they've got these really cool Instant Pot accessories that you can get. I'll list a few of my favorites in just a bit. So for instance, you could put one in here, and then you could stack other dishes in there. So it's really kind of, again, your one pot cooking to get everything in at the same time. It's really fun. Okay, so other functions, other things that you can do with your Instant Pot, you can make rice in here, and you can make rice so much faster than using a conventional rice cooker. It's so much easier. So like I said, again, make sure you do your cooking spray. That really helps. And you could even flavor it, right? Like cook it with maybe some broth rather than water. So rice you can do, oatmeal you can do. There's a porridge setting on the Instant Pot. There is a bean setting. So beans are really cool, let me tell you. With beans, what you can do is, with traditional beans, when you've got dry beans, you ideally want to soak them overnight before you cook them. But what's really cool is with the Instant Pot, you don't have to do that. So if you're anything like me, I don't think ahead when it comes to my cooking. It's sort of like right in the moment, I'm like, we should have beans for dinner. How can we make this happen right now? And so what's really cool is the soaking method. What that does is it removes the phytic acid from the beans. It helps to make the beans more digestible. But here's the cool thing. You can cook beans in your Instant Pot, and the pressure, right, the pressure cooking itself actually helps to break down the phytic acid and make it digestible. So you can kind of skip that soaking step and go right to cooking in your Instant Pot. Isn't that amazing? So again, you're sort of using, the benefits of pressure cooking to unlock the nutritional content, the nutritional value of the beans. There's also a chili function. There's a yogurt function. Yes, you can do yogurt in the Instant Pot. Isn't that amazing? So lots of different functions here, and you can explore, refer to your Instant Pot manual. Also look at the recipes themselves. In my cookbook, most of my recipes I use manual. I sort of like to be able to control the temperature and how long things are going to cook. But if you're sort of ever in doubt, if you're making chili, put it on the chili mode. If you're in doubt and want to make rice, go ahead and put it in the rice mode. You can absolutely do that, and it's really, really easy to do. So that's how you use your Instant Pot. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope I demystified how to clean it, which parts you can clean, and how to use the different buttons, and how to make really fun recipes. So get out there, use your Instant Pot, and I hope you enjoy my book. Thanks for tuning in.